Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you have seen my previous video on the swatch and review test for the SeamiArt Watercolor set of 50 pigments, I will now be sharing to you the artwork that I'll be making using this watercolor set. Let me just prep my tools so we can get started. So here I'm using a different paper this time. It's a Canson 200 GSM watercolor paper. And I've already made a light sketch of what we'll be painting for today. It's a lime. So if you have your if there are kids watching this video, or if there are new hobbyists for watercolor painting during this pandemic, there's been a lot of challenges for each and every one of us. And if you'd like to have your mind wander up to different sort of hobbies, watercolor painting is really great for you. And this watercolor set that I got, it's a great start for beginners, and you'll find that it's easy to handle. There are a little bit of struggles when it comes to some of the pigments, but I'm pretty sure that everybody will be able to work on with it with just a little bit of practice. So on this lime painting that I'm drawing or painting right now, I'm going to use just a few pigments. So on the second to the last layer of the watercolor set, more on the greens and the light greens. So I've used bright and light colored greens, permanent green, sap green, because on this watercolor set you'll find that there is a color card and you'll be able to swatch. If you are not familiar with this color card, it's best for you to watch my previous video on the swatch test for this watercolor set. If you've seen also that on the previous part of this video wherein I applied a thin layer of water, some artists call it paper stretching. I use that in order for the colors to blend easily, and I always start from the lightest to the darkest. And you may also notice that on the left side of the Canson watercolor pad, I have a designated area where I can swatch the colors first before I apply it on the paper, so that I will know what the outcome will be. By the way, the brushes used on this painting are all the SeamiArt brushes that came along with the watercolor set. So there. I'm pretty much sure that with the level of this painting, everybody will be able to catch up. So you'd be able to practice on your own while watching this video so you can paint with me. There, now I'm moving forward on adding the darker colors this time. So I believe this is the sap green, and as you can see, I'm layering it, and later on I would be lifting out some of the colors so it would be blend out easily. And when you're going to blend some of the paint on the paper, it's best that you dab off the excess paint from the brush, and then try to lift out the wet parts of the paint. As you can see, I'm lifting it out and blending it. There. So, yeah. This painting at the moment, doesn't look pretty like all artwork. So if to those who are a bit anxious and or worried that their art looks a bit tacky at first, don't worry, everything can all be remedied. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all go through there, and a little bit of practice goes a long way. I also started from the bottom, so I also did a lot of practice by myself because I'm a self-taught artist, though I don't really proclaim myself to be like that. But yeah, practice makes everything permanent. Alright, so while editing this video, I was thinking that this is not that much of a very detailed watercolor art. It's a combination of loose and detailed styles. I'll explain that in a few. Alright, so a loose watercolor painting or a loose painting is about capturing an impression or essence of a scene rather than painting a photographic representation. So in our painting for today, it really isn't an exact representation of what a lime looks like. So it's more of an idea, and you can be more expressive if you are using this kind of watercolor style, because it depends on how you see the image that you're trying to paint rather than how it really looks like in reality. You get what I mean? So I hope you do. But yeah, that's what a loose painting is like. So it's not about being perfect, but being free with the style or the idea that you have in your mind. So there. Oh, by the way, I mentioned that I'm a self-taught artist, and though I do not really proclaim myself as an artist, I do a lot of practice if I have free time. And I also have a lot of styles wherein I also use different kinds of medium like acrylic and gouache. But at the moment, since I don't have most of my art materials with me, I only have my watercolors and some of my acrylic paintings. I focus more on watercolors because it's easier to manage. Acrylic painting is more of a messy take on an actual painting. So right now, you may notice that I'm using a different brush while lifting out some of the pigments out from the paper. That gives us a highlight for the lime wedge. So instead of you adding white on the wedge itself, I lift out some of the pigment, so you'll see a variation of light to dark tones. So you can stop right here if you want, but if you'd like a more detailed representation of your painting, you can use a fine detail brush like what I have right here and add some pulp details of a lime using a white paint. But I will only move forward and add some finishing touches on this painting, like the shadow. If we have highlights, there must be a shadow outline. So I'm mixing a little bit of Payne's Gray to a little bit of water, and I'll be painting it down here at the bottom of the lime wedge. So I'm using a gray, not a black, because like I mentioned earlier, from light to dark tones. So when you think of a shadow, sometimes what comes in your head is black or a really dark shadow. But it's best for you to try out a lighter shade, then move on to a darker shade. Or a watered down shade, so it will be lighter. There, as you can see, it's like a how would I say it? Like aside from finishing touches, it adds that wow effect to it. It's more, you can say that it's more finished rather than just a blank or a flat image. More like a 3D image, actually. That's what I mean. So I'm showing to you other paintings that I've done earlier. I made a watermelon slice using the reds from the SeamiArt Watercolor art set. And here is a more elaborate painting that I did earlier using gray and dark green tones. But if you'd like to see more of my art, you can always follow me on my Instagram. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. It really helps me a lot, and it kills most of my time if I think of more art content to present to you. So my Instagram account is at Miss Pentastic. You'll see more of my art there, different mediums, acrylic and gouache. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys like it. Bye!